So we're going to take a look at what I sent home for students to work on tonight. So I want to show you how we can do these problems. Number one, it wants you to find the slope, the y-intercept, and then once you know those, to write them into an equation. So the slope from point to point to point, and if they look in their red foldable, it will tell them exactly how to find the slope. So on this one, from this point to this point, when I draw the triangles, I'm going up 1 vertically, I'm going across 2 to the right horizontally. So then my slope there is 1 vertical to 2 horizontal. So we would just write that as 1 to 2. And then the y-intercept is where this line is crossing the y-axis, which is right here. That is 1 above the origin on the y-axis, so my y-intercept is 1. So then when I put that into an equation, 1/2 is my coefficient for the x, it's my slope, plus 1 is my y-intercept, so then there's my equation. That's all there is to that. On the second one, when I draw the triangle, I have this point and this point that I can name. That's a 4 vertical that goes down the hill. So that's a -4. And then I go right 3. So -4/3, 4 to 3, is my slope ratio. It's crossing the y-axis. The y-axis I'm going to highlight for you. Y-axis is this one right here, and here's the origin right there. So if I'm going below the origin 4 spaces, that's a -4 for the y-intercept. So then I just stick those things in the right place in the equation. So y equals -4 to 3, it's my slope ratio, x, and then -4 is my y-intercept. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Number 2, it wants you to graph them. So I start at the y-intercept, which is what I've done here in purple. So there's -1 on the y-axis. Again, the y-axis is this one right here. My slope is -3. I've created that into a ratio of -3 vertically and 1 horizontal. So I can draw triangles, -3 vertical to 1 horizontal. And I've done more points. So -3 this way, +1 that way. And then I can go the other direction. So that would be a -1 to a +3. That can also work as a ratio. Possible solutions that I have here, and I've just named the ordered pairs for each of these little points on this line. So 0 and -1, 1 and -4, -1 and 2, -2 and 5. So then for the second one, my y-intercept is -4, and that's where I will start on the y-axis. So there's -4 on the y-axis. And then my slope is a 7 to 4 ratio. It means I'm going to go up 7, and over 4, put another dot. And that's a solution to this equation also. So I have 0, -4, which is the y-intercept right there. And I also have 4 and 3. Those are solutions for this equation. Number 3, we have a $100 graduation present, and then we place it in our savings account, and then every week after that we add $5 to that account. What is the rate of change? The rate is for every week you add $5. So it's 5. And what it means in this context of this situation is that there's $5 saved every week. The initial value is the 100. And it means that you already had $100, so that's your y-intercept. So then the equation for this situation would be y equals 5x plus 100. D part, we're not going to do that one because what I realized as I was making the answer key here is that it asked for months when it gave it to you in a situation of weeks. And that's not what we need to worry about right now, changing weeks to months. So I did this equation over here. So 400 equals 5x plus 100. I replaced the y with 400. Subtracted 100 from both sides. That leaves me with 300 equals 5x. Divide both sides by 5, and that would be 60 weeks. It'll take him 60 weeks, which would be over a year, to get that much money saved, $400. Excuse me. All right, next we've got Zach and Brittany who are climbing the rock wall at Cabela's. Brittany gets a head start, so she's already 5 feet up the wall, and then she climbs at a rate of 3 feet per minute. So I made a table for Brittany. This is the number of minutes. And this is how far up the wall she is. So 0 minutes, she's already 5 feet up the wall. 1 minute, 8 feet. And I just went on going until I got past 30, because the last question right there is asking about 30 feet. So 9 minutes, she's 32 feet up the wall. And then we've got Zach's table here. So I've labeled Zach as a table, and then I made a table for Brittany. Who climbs the rock wall the fastest? How do you know? So Zach is actually a proportional relationship. If I multiply each of these by 4, I get my total feet. So he is climbing every single minute. He's climbing 4 feet. So there's my rate for Zach. Brittany, it says in the problem, Brittany's climbing 3 feet a minute. So we know that Zach is climbing at a faster rate because he's doing 4 feet in 1 minute, whereas Brittany's just doing 3 feet in 1 minute. All right, and this graph is really hard to read on this one that I did here, so I'm going to redo that on this one. So this is going to be the number of minutes. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, and 30. And I counted by 2's on the y-axis, so I could actually get up to 30 feet, which is how far part C wants me to go. So I'm going to graph Brittany's information in pink. And I've got her table right here, Brittany. I'm just writing her name in pink so I know that I've graphed her information in pink. So she starts off at 5, so this is 4, so 5 is right here. She gets that much of a head start over Zach. Then for 1 minute, she reaches 8 feet. And I'm going to do 5 minutes and then 20. That's right there, that line in between 18 and 22. And that's enough for me to get. So then for Zach, Zach is this information in this table right here. So he starts at 0, 0, so he's a proportional relationship, over 2, and 8 is right there, over 4, and up to 16 is right there. We're getting close to crossing the lines, and then 6 and 24 is right there. So then we do for sure cross the lines right there. So then I'm just going to line up my dots. And the blue line is for Zach. Okay, so who gets to 30 first? So 30 is right there. Zach gets there first. Now, what we did mathematically, we could say, all right, so if I know for Zach, y equals, he's doing 4 feet per minute, and I want to know for 30 feet, how fast does it take him? I could divide both sides by 4. And we found out that it will take him 7.5 minutes to climb 30 feet. If we do that for Brittany, her equation was 3 feet when she's already got a 5-foot head start. So we're going to put 30 here. How long will it take her to get there? We'll subtract 5 from both sides, and we'll have 25. It's 3x. Divide both sides by 3. And that's going to take her 8 and some change to get there. So 7 minutes is faster than 8 minutes. So Zach will get there faster. So that's just another way of saying the same thing that the graph is saying, just some math behind it. Let's move on. On the back side, we're not going to do 5 and 6. They're not necessary at this point. We are going to look at 7 and 8. So for 7, what is the height of the tree at 0 time? It's 4. What is the rate of growth? So it goes from 4 to 8 there. Four to 8 feet. That is a height gain of 4 feet. But then from this time to this time, that's in 8 years. And if I simplify that, that's 1 foot every 2 years. So then for the tree, its equation would be y equals 1 to 2 x, and it was already 4 feet tall. So 1 foot for every 2 years, but it was already 4 feet tall. Then for this one, what is the distance from home at time 0? It's 175 miles. The rate of speed, it took them 4 hours to go 175 miles, so we're going to divide that. And when you do, you get 43.75 miles per hour. So then that equation would be y equals, because we're getting closer to home, we started at 175, it's 175 minus the 43.75 times x. That one's kind of a weirdo question. From 0 to 3 hours, we went 150 miles. 150 miles in 3 hours. So that rate of speed would be 50 miles per hour. The rate of speed from 3 to 4, hopefully you can see, that's a 0 slope. But think about it. He started off at hour 3 at 150 miles, hour 3. At hour 4, it was still 150 miles. That means he didn't go anywhere. So no miles. In 1 hour, he didn't go anywhere. That's a 0 slope. What was the rate of speed from 4 to 9? So he started at 150, ended up at 450. So from 150 to 450 is a change of 300 miles. From hour 4 to hour 9 is 5 hours. So this time they went 60 miles per hour. And D part is not something that we need to worry about. Thank you for listening. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.